3 heads, 4 grinds, Mizuno's T22 Wedge. Let's see how it performs. Classic Mizuno. Beautiful in a wedge, very rounded in the toe. They've added something this year into the wedge with hydroflow grooves, which will take a little bit of water away from the face, which will give you a little bit less reduction in spin when you're playing out of wet conditions, which if you're playing in the UK is fairly often. They do four different bounces this year, so depending on the delivery of your wedge patterns, you've got 4 options there, and you've also got 3 finishes. You've got the copper, the satin here, and also the raw. So there's lots of choices, and Mizuno's do this incredibly well. There's an incredible amount of bounce and loft options. So from a fitting perspective, it's incredibly fun to fit with because we can play around with and really match up what the player's doing to one of the options in the Mizuno range. So I've picked up the copper finish wedge here to hit a few shots this morning for you. The reason for that is you can see, probably by the length of the shadows behind me, that there is a lot of glare, there's a low sunshine this morning. So with the copper finish, a bit like with the raw, we're gonna have an anti-glare face. So for me, especially wearing glasses, it's really frustrating sometimes when you're playing in those crisp spring and winter mornings or late evenings in the summer where that sun's very low and you get quite a lot of glare off the face. Especially wearing glasses, you get that kind of reflection, which can be quite frustrating when you're trying to hit a little pitch shot. So, looks fantastic behind the golf ball. Typical Mizuno, high toe. It looks a little bit more rounded and bubble. I personally quite like the look of that. When I was younger, I used to play a lot with the Mizuno wedge. So for me, it kind of is very nostalgic in the way it sits and looks. Frames the ball lovely. I'm a big fan of raw and copper wedges, as I've said. I personally also feel like you get a little bit more grip, but that might be psychological. So let's just have a little hit and a feel. Feels incredibly soft. So huge amount of feedback on the face with the ball. A little thin there for you. But again, nice feedback when you thin it. Just clip one. Lovely little sound, lovely little soft feel off the face. I think you're going to get a huge amount of control, especially in the lofted wedges around the green, so that's 58 and 60. Personally, I really like the look of this. It's retailing this year at $159, so it's not cheap. Mizuno products they're not designed to be. But I think you'll find that with all wedges this year, the price of wedges are going up into that kind of category of 149, 159. So it's going to be in the mix. I think it's one of those wedges that gets massively overlooked. You see a lot of guys go into looking at Vokeys and TaylorMades and the Mac Daddies. I think you've got to have a look at this. I think it's a really good looking wedge. I would, with the additional grinds this year, the finishes I think are much better than the last year's wedges. So it's definitely something that when you're looking to upgrade your wedges, this is worth a little go.